Hello and welcome. And I see that Chalet is in the house. Great to see you here. Um, so tonight I decided for my travel show, my travel vlog, that we're going to look at photos of my friend Bob because last night he passed away. And I'm basically I don't want to say his only friend, because there were a few other people that were friends with him, but certainly one of his best friends, and he was one of my best friends. Um, and so I've been, and in fact, when I called the U.S. Embassy today, they they already knew about me because I was listed as his emergency contact. So yeah, we were close for years. I think he lived here in Cambodia for 13 years, around that. Um, so, well, he had been in the hospital for about 5 days. And he went into the hospital because he was very dehydrated. Um, for about 4 months, he'd been having some issues. And so, but he didn't want to go to the doctors or the hospital. I kept encouraging him, please go see a doctor. Maybe you've got like a parasite or something in your stomach that's causing these problems. And just simple antibiotics or something could take care of it. Uh, so he was starting to warm to the idea. Uh, but when his landlord went over there to the house to fix something, and he saw his condition, he's a doctor. The landlord is a doctor. And he said, no, you're going to the hospital right now, and took him to the hospital. And I'm so glad he did. And so the way hospitals are here in Cambodia, they don't give you any food or tissues or soap or towels or anything. They just give you a bed, basically. And so I've been going over there every day to take him meals and chat with him for a little bit. Um, and he seemed to be getting better, but they they figured out that there was like a bacteria in his intestines. Oops, sorry, buffered a minute there. Um, and so then um, they discovered, though, that his kidneys were failing because he was so dehydrated for so long, and basically kind of starving himself too, because he couldn't keep any food down, and so he was eating very little, um, and he wasn't getting many nutrients from the food that he was eating. Um, so his kidneys were also being an issue, but they weren't going to let him go home until they identified the exact problem with the kidneys and make sure that it was um, being taken care of, you know. But he was anxious to get home because there was no hot water in the room. At first, when they first admitted him, he was in a room with like three other patients, and so he insisted on having a private room, which here in Cambodia is about $100 a night for, maybe 110, something like that, to have a private room. But also the previous room that was shared with three people was just the beds, and the toilet was like a common toilet in the hallway. I'm sorry, you'd have to go into the hallway to go into the bathroom, and then it was just the squat toilets and the floor. Hi, Mumsy in the house. Thank you for being here. Sorry for the loss. He was a great guy. Yes. And I've also I sent the link to his kids so that they can also join and see the photos and the memories and everything. And so they probably won't chat if they're here, but they'll just watch. And anyway, so they just he was excited to go home where he would have hot water. Oh, the private room had a regular toilet in it that you can sit on, but he wasn't happy with the height of it. Um, he wasn't happy that they didn't really have like call buttons, so that if you did have an emergency, you could hit the call button. Um, of course, when he died, he had gone into the bathroom, so he probably wouldn't have had the call button with him anyway. But they just said that he collapsed. And so we do have, this is maybe his son or daughter here. Um, Philip, Philip in the house, saying thank you. Chalet says you were a good friend to him and he to you. Yes. And so for 13 years, we were playing crosswords every Sunday, and sometimes on Wednesdays too. So for a period of maybe a year, we were playing our crosswords twice a week. But we had gone back to once a week and everything. And 1987 Sparta in the house. So between Physikunterricht and 1987 Sparta, I think are his kids saying they're here. So we'll get into, let's see, let me bring this light over a little bit more. So sorry for your loss. Oh yeah, Philip. So that one's Philip. That's his son. And his daughter is Michelle. And so we're going to have a nice trip down memory lane and see some great photos. I even found a couple of videos. So that should be nice to remember him. And if you look in the description, his son put together a playlist of songs to remember his dad with. And so I've put a link to that playlist in the description. It's already there. So please, when we're done, feel free to go over there and watch the playlist for some interesting music. And so anyway, yeah, they told me that he had collapsed in the bathroom. They did try to resuscitate him. They brought in the ICU team to try and resuscitate him, but he was gone. And the cause of death on his death certificate is listed as cardiac arrest. So all that out of the way. Oh, so both of those are Philip. One was his work account. Okay. That's all right. You could be watching on both of them because then I get extra watch hours. That doesn't matter though. All right. So let's celebrate Bob. All right. And these are like in no particular order. Oh, come on. Go to the screen. I want you to get meh. Okay, I gotta wait a second. I gotta add it again. Stop sharing. I had it like where I thought it was like ready and easy to share. And all right. Okay, so here's the first one. He was always coming over. Oh, okay. So there's Michelle and Philip. They're both here. So he would always come over and help me fix things in the house because he was like a real handyman with stuff. I think he by trade was a machinist, but he was also an auto mechanic and kind of a bit of a jack of all trades. Here we're trying to fix the plumbing here and figure out what was wrong with the plumbing. He's got a nice big snake there to help, and of course this tub is to catch the water, but he was always coming over and helping whenever I needed help. So that was kind of him. And this is just funny.
Oh, there's Jesus. If you hold the phone upside down, I don't want it to have to be this direction. I'm trying to show you. If you hold the phone upside down, all you do is get a picture of your fingers. Let me want it that way. No. It has to be this way. That's called landscape mode. No, if you cannot.
I'm being a little bossy.
I don't want it this way with this on this side, then it's upside down.
cord.
It is?
Yeah, so it has to be this way, so it's right side up.
But I think he started it the wrong way because I didn't realize he had pushed the button yet.
What do you think?
I turned it around and I gave it to you. You were the one turning it around.
I'm turning around this way, not this way.
Oh, you. What? It's recording. What did you say?
It's recording, you know. So that was all kind of messed up.
Hello.
Here's another video.
We are in Cambodia today, and
Oh.
we're here for a movie. This is we're in a pagoda. This is our green room. The stuff is over there. There's Bob. Bob, my friend Bob is going to be in the movie, and it's a small part. So we're here, and maybe I'll make a few other short videos that are interesting as they come up.
So yes, Mom, that was when we were doing crosswords, that first video. And so this is him getting all his costume and makeup and everything done for his part in the video. He was really happy to be in this movie. And it's just a little Cambodian movie. It was kind of like a thriller movie, not really horror, but like some ghost stuff, maybe horror / thriller. And he actually had quite a big part. Oh, Cecile's in the house. Cecile's in the house. Yes. So sad that he passed away. And so we're just going to celebrate him. His kids are both here as well, watching. So he had so much fun being in this movie. And he also had fun complaining about like the schedule and this and that. Oh, they need me to go into the studio and record something. But that was like he had joy in complaining, right? So anyway, that's a nice picture of him.
Hello, everybody. This is my moto, and I'm on the ferry. Like, we're on the gate of the ferry.
There's Bob.
The ramp of the ferry. And we're all facing this way, ready to go. This is the Mekong River. And I'm so nervous because I'm always afraid to be on water, even over a bridge or anything.
There's another shot of Bob.
I'll survive. So, but it's only going to take a minute or so. It's my friend Bob. Hi, Bob. Hi, Bob. So we're going to go have pizza at a friend of ours' restaurant. And since it only takes a minute, I'll just go ahead and keep the video going, and you can kind of see all the, everyone just starts to move off once we get to the other side. Does anybody really care?
That was about it with Bob. The rest is just me talking. You guys don't want to hear that. It's about Bob, not about me. And so his landlord, who's a doctor, is also joining us, watching, even though he's not in the chat. And he just sent me 2 new photos by Telegram, and so I added them into this folder. So at some point, these photos that he just sent to me will also will show up in our slideshow. So this was part of a tuk-tuk race that we did. It was called the Amazing Tuk-Tuk Race. And so we had to, like, they gave us clues and we had to figure out where we were supposed to go and then take a picture being there. And then like whoever finished the race and had the most places that they got to and could prove it with their pictures won a prize or something. We didn't win, but we had lots of fun. And so I've got a few pictures of the race. This is in front of the Royal Palace. So you've got my friend Cecile, who's in the house. We've got Bob, we've got me, and Cecile, your friend. I can't remember her name because Tita was her name. Yeah. And so we had lots of fun. And here we are again. And here we are again. That's Wat Phnom. And here we are again. And that's a nice, I like this picture of Bob. He's got a great smile there. And he's got a great laugh here at the Independence Monument. You know, we had a lot of fun. So, and this one we had to put, look at me, I'm wasted. I'm like, it was hot. I was so tired by this point. It was must be getting toward the end here. But Bob was doing good. And there's a nice smiling one too. At the cinema. And so here's Bob right here. This is this is Sean from Happy Damrai, his mom Queenie, and his son Maddie, and there's me, and there's Bob and some other friends. And so I don't know exactly which occasion this is, but anytime one of them had a birthday or something, then they would invite their close friends, us, to come and have a meal with them. And so it was, Bob didn't like to go out at night or in the evening, but coming here to celebrate whatever occasion with Sean and his family was one of the times that he would come out. He would come out for that. And here he is in his costume in the movie that he was in. And here he is right here. When they're shooting one of the scenes in the movie. And here you can see him on the monitor. So he had lots of fun being in that movie for sure. And there they are. This was our wardrobe and makeup section here. You know, it's Cambodia, you know. And she's doing the makeup. Then he just had this little, he's so tall. So for him to sit on this little chair, great. But he had the little fan because it was so hot. And my pet nanny had made these Christmas cookies and decorated them so pretty. And I brought them to Happy Damrai. And Bob didn't like to eat sweets. Anytime I'd try to give him something sweet, no, he didn't want it. But I told him, I said, no, but you have to at least just have a bite, you know, so I can get a picture. And that little stool is neat. Yeah, so tiny, but just enough, you know. And so here we are getting ready for our crosswords. Okay, this is a picture, but I also have a video, I think, of this as well at some point. And yeah, but this was our every Sunday. And he was always helpful to when I had my Oscar party to come and support me and be there during the Oscar parties. This is the last one we did last year. And there he's showing the gift that he won, some coffee from Three Corners Coffee. And there's a nice smile. And there's an even nicer smile. Yes. And there's me in a big muumuu dress. And here he is at the premiere. So you can see this is kind of a bit of a ghost movie. As they call horror movies ghost movies because they always have ghosts in them. And here's Bob right here at the premiere. One of the other rare times he went out at night. Oh, Michelle has a couple of photos too. So I'll let you look at that for a second while I download these. Oh, nice. see. Okay, so they're in there. They're in there. We'll get to them. Thank you, Michelle, for adding a couple photos. And this was my housewarming when I moved into this new house, and he came along with other friends. And there's Cecile in the house with the Bella and her daughter, Helen or Kanya, and Bob. It's not looking too happy right there. I don't know why. And here he is helping me again. The drains, the pipes here in Cambodia, they always have problems, it seems like. And so we had to pull everything out from under the sink, and he was spilling water everywhere. And so I had to keep mopping it up and stuff. But we never really did find a way to like get it 100%, but he made it better. It wasn't his fault that he could. There's like something weird about this drain under the sink. And so I threw in a couple of his favorite memes. Let me add this picture. Save. Okay, got it, Michelle. So he had a couple of favorite memes that he would always love to use in whether it was Telegram or Viber. He used Viber a lot. And anyway, Kiss My Hairy Little Butt was one. He loved this. He loved the smile on this little, I can't remember what, chupacabra. And it's not that, but it's something weird like that. A Canberra, maybe. And this is like what they really look like. This isn't like a Photoshop smile. They really look like this. I think anyway. Don't quote me on that. Maybe it's Photoshop. This one, Happy New Year, whoop-de freaking do, with a bored cat. And this one, he loved this one. Must I really? So it's like, oh, can you come help me with my pipes or something, right? Must I really? And this one was a big favorite. What's the opposite of thank you? So that's a little bit of Bob's humor. And so this is the one that his landlord, the doctor, sent me. He was really happy. This was just this past year. And I think these are hornbills, but there's also an adjunct, a lesser and greater adjunct, and then there's hornbills. And to be honest, I'm not sure which one this is, but I think he's even got his finger in there. I mean, those things can crack nuts. That's like friggin' dangerous. He's lucky he didn't get his finger cut off. But notice the bag that he's got here. So Michelle and Philip, when you come, I have his bag. There. I have his bag, and he was so proud of these patches that he sewed on by himself. And there was even some things that he's done on some of his clothes where he hand embroidered. So, for example, if there was like this patch in the middle, right? We get those machine made and then sew them on. But he did actual designs by embroidering himself on some of his things. So all that is available to you. And look at him smiling. He was so happy about these birds, really. And it was just recently. And so this was from Michelle that she just sent me. So, oh my gosh, that's Bob. Look at him in his younger days. Still had the mustache. Look, it's the same style of mustache. He didn't change that. You know. Wow, he looks good. And one of the I get that must be Michelle, maybe. Um, back in his motorcycle days, he always loved to talk about his motorcycle days. And so here he is. This must be Philip and one of the babies. Philip has twins, and he was so happy that his kids came to visit. They both came on different trips, and yeah, you can see here how proud he is of them, you know, and how excited. And one of the things he loved to do because the girls are older now, this was quite a few years ago, and he'd love to go shopping for silk and the Khmer patterns. It's your husband and your son. Thank you for clarifying, Michelle. I'm sorry. It's been so long. In 2015. Thank you so much for clarifying. So this is Michelle's husband and her son, but I know that he loved to buy silk and send it so that they could have baby clothes made. I hope he did that for both of you guys. So this must be his son and the twins. Okay. And so there you go. Wonderful, wonderful. He was so happy to see everybody. Yeah, my mumsy says he is so happy it shows in his face, for sure. And so I think it was Scotty who we worked with at Khmer Times. The three of us had worked there together, and so this would have. It was really nice that he got this shot because I'm the one with the moto. He did not. I mean, he was quite an avid motorcyclist, and so he was like determined not to be the one to ride here in Cambodia. Michelle says the older one is Bob and me in 1985. Oh, wow. So this one. So there's Michelle and her dad, Bob, around 1985. And then, so that's her husband and their son. And that's Philip and his daughters. Thank you. So me, I'm the one that always like scootered us around. And there we are. We arrived at Scotty's house and he was up on his balcony taking pictures of us.
Well, good morning, everybody. Hello, how are you today, wherever you are? There's my friend Bob. We're at Happy Dumb Rye, and thank goodness no, because none of us wants to be blind.
Always making jokes.
My eyesight, please. We come here every Sunday to do crossword puzzles, and we do them, but the crosswords are by Merle Regal. Very famous. He's passed away now, but very famous crossword puzzle maker. There's my coffee, which I'm thirsty for. Coffee. Need my coffee.
Yeah, it's decaf.
So So Happy Dumb Rye. Dumb Rye means elephant. It's a very nice little cafe. Also some outdoor seating. But what makes it interesting, besides its amazing menu,
see, I can go forward. There's Ivy.
Her. Hello, Ivy.
Let's see if there's more Bob.
Patio. If you wanted to. And he took a fish tank. Want to see the fish?
Oh, fish. No, you don't want to see the fish. Okay.
There's Happy Dumb Rye. There's Bob petting Winston, as he calls Ivy. Beautiful patio outside. All right. I need my coffee. See you next time.
So he was always calling Ivy Winston. He refused to call Ivy the dog. He would always call it Winston.
Okay, so, recording. Yeah. Try it.
Not now.
That's why I'm recording. Just try one of them.
I don't remember what I was watching this. I'm like, what
Maybe
is
this
it?
one if you want to eat it with something.
It might be like pickled, like pickled peppers kind of thing.
So you like it?
I wish I could figure out what it was that he had. Oh, is that the last one? That's the last one. Wow, that's so nice. Yeah. So maybe I'll leave it on there. Um, Another thing that I brought over with me, he had this. This is what he kept the crosswords in. So this is our crosswords folder. If Philip and Michelle, if you guys want this, you guys, he's your father, but if you don't want it, then that's the one thing that I'll keep to remember Bob with, because of our crosswords. He was a good friend. He was a good friend. And I'm definitely going to be missing him. So I guess that's it. Just 30 minutes for tonight. Here's Mama Kitty. What are you doing, Mama Kitty? Get out of there. Here's Mama Kitty. Here, Mama Kitty. There she goes. Yeah. Trying to think, should I tell some stories or something? Is there some kind of stories I could tell? Not really. At least there's nothing. I mean, we went through the pictures, It was like he was like a rock for me, Our doing our crosswords every week was like gave me a real sense of stability, and he was always, I really wanted to do like an online crosswords so that people could have fun watching our banter back and forth, but he really didn't want to do that. He likes having the banter, and he's just like would always be teasing me, and he'd always tell the same stories. I guess maybe I can. I am. I'm totally in shock, and I know it hasn't hit me yet, and I know it will hit me. But I can tell you, I guess some of the stories that he would like tell all the time, because like I guess he'd forget that he had told me or something, or not forget, but just something would spark the memory, and so he would tell the story, and then a few months later something new would spark the memory, and so he would tell the story again. So he remembers he wanted to go on a family trip and take the kids to the beach, and they got lost. They got totally lost, and it was like this whole big adventure. But he just like made like the best of it, even though they didn't go where they were intending to go. He feels like, he tried to still make it fun for the kids and still have like an adventure. He likes to tell that story. Mumsy says, I saw Bob when you were there last year. He was so interesting to talk to and such a wonderful person. Yeah. And I mean, you saw Bob every time you've come here. But yeah, so the last time you saw Bob was when you came here the last time. Chalet says, I bet that love you. Yes. Emojis. And he would tell stories about working, like being a union, not a leader, but like a union representative at his work where they would like assemble machine stuff. And so he'd always like to tell stories about um, things that happened at work. Um, he'd tell stories about like fixing the roof on his house or something. Um, and with the kids, sometimes he'd tell stories about like, I don't know, like their mom would be gone somewhere and like he would be in charge of feeding them. And so he would make them stuff that she never wanted to eat. Like, I don't know, like maybe peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or something, right? Like, and she didn't want to eat that. And so he would, when she wasn't there and it was his turn to feed the kids, he would make whatever it was that she didn't want to eat. And so he got them liking the things that he liked. And he would tell the story of like one time, I don't know if it's the same beach trip or if he was by himself, and he went to this area that was like off limits because there could still be like unexploded, bombs or something buried in the beach or whatever, because it was a real an active place during World War II. And he found like a little around almost like a dog tag kind of thing. And so he wore that. So he was like wearing that when he passed away. So we need to make sure, because I got everything out of the hospital room, but whatever was on his person at the time, I don't have that. And that necklace is something that you guys should have as an heirloom, because that was like really important to him. And that's why he always wore it. But he would tell the story about like when he found that at a beach, because like and then somebody like came over, you're not supposed to be here. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 or whatever, talked his way out of being in trouble. He talked about being young and well, he talked about his motorcycle, his like a motorcycle gang, not gang kind of thing. And the adventures that they had. That was like an important time for him. Going on the motorcycles. I think it was like elephant something. I don't know. I don't remember the name of it, but and he would talk about like driving his motorcycle in the winter and like getting frozen, you know, and he would talk about going from Germany to France sometimes. He would talk about his times, a little bit of like growing up, that he went to a Jesuit school in Cleveland, and so it was a boys' school, and but apparently he grew up in Germany until he was 5 years old, and then his mother and his grandmother immigrated to America, and they settled in Cleveland, and so then he grew up there, and trying to think if like when he was high school age, if he went back over to Germany for a little bit, for a few years, and then came back to the US, but definitely like out of high school, he had a job working like for a computer shop. Like they didn't sell computers, they sold programs for computers, and they would get phone calls from people that had problems, and they'd have to do some customer service, and he'd help fill the orders, and maybe he even wrote the programming. I don't know. And then he went back to Germany. I mean, this is my understanding. I could have some holes in this, right? Then he went back to Germany and worked as a mechanic. And then he worked as like a machinist. He went back to Germany for 35 years. I mean, so he was in Germany 35 years before he retired, or he was 35 years old. No, it couldn't have been that he was 35 years old. He was in Germany for 35 years. That would make sense. That's why he like retired from Germany. And but he did have U.S. citizenship, and so he had an adventurous life. Um, he was a little kooky in a good way, a little nerdy and a little kooky, you know. And so he had an odd sense of humor. He liked like Frank Zappa and weird music like that. He was 35 years old when he arrived in Germany from the USA. Okay, wow, I didn't realize he was that old when he went back to Germany. Oh, and that's when he met your mom. Wow. Wow, that is so cool. I didn't realize that. So in that other picture, I love that picture. He was already 35. Wait, is it this way? Oh yeah, this one. So I mean, he's older than 35 obviously because he'd already met your mom and had you. you know. Uh so he's in his late 30s here. Wow. Uh, Mumsy says he had good retirement years. Yeah, I think he was happy here, you know, and he had his. He didn't do a lot. I mean, we did the tuk race together because I was like, hey, come on, Bob, let's do this tuk race. But most of the time, he just stayed in his apartment or he went walking along the riverside, and he'd go to Happy Damrai. I mean, once we found Happy Damrai, that was like our place. Well, when he first moved there, of course, it was Rory's Pub, and that's where I lived. Was right next to Rory's Pub, and I think that's how we met. And so that was kind of like the place. But then Rory's sold it to Chad. And so we still go there all the time with Chad. And then Chad sold it to some young guy from Australia. And he just kind of changed the whole vibe and didn't like keep it the Irish pub thing. And so we kind of started going around different places, and then we discovered Happy Damrai, and that became our place. And that was really a safe zone for him. And he would walk there and then I'd give him a ride back, you know. And but yeah, overall, I think he had a lot of different stages of life, and I think he did all right, and he's well loved and he's going to be missed, Oh, I can feel tears coming now. uh, so, all righty. Well, I'll go ahead and end this live stream. Wonderful memories you have. Absolutely. I'm sure every one of us that knew Bob have good memories of him, and so like I end every broadcast or live stream, love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you are watching, I love you. And I hope that Bob, wherever he is right now. I mean, as in whatever happens to us after death, because I believe that who we are, our spirit, our consciousness, that soul that is inside this body, it existed before we came into this body, and it exists after we leave this body. What that existence is, where it is, I can't say for sure. As a Christian, I do believe in God and Jesus, but where is heaven? What is heaven? I don't know. And I don't think we need to worry about it. I don't think we need to figure it out. We just need to know that, we still exist in some form somewhere. So, alrighty then. With that, I hope that you enjoyed this trip down memory lane to remember Bob. And cheers to Bob. Thank you for joining me tonight. Okay, bye.